You think you've got my number figured out, a motive born in drought and brevity. And if I'm not the soul of your design, I blatantly decline your remedy. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine. I wasn't always just a single shade, a palette full of gray in reverie. And I can burn it brighter than the sun. I have a golden gun inside of me. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else. And if I fall behind, ignoring all the signs, and if I lose the fight, I still rage against the night. Don't box I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Wednesday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Wednesday. It is one day closer, folks. It is one day closer. Michael Hasser, welcome. Folks, we're going to do a short and sweet stream. We got a lot to talk about for the short stream. Before we get started, Kamikaze, welcome. Before we get started, folks, um, this weekend, this Saturday, at 6 p.m., we will be doing the official monthly movie night, and we will be playing The Nightmare Before Christmas. We're going to be doing this about 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Sounds like the plan. And on Halloween, join us as we will be streaming a couple of movies. I'm going to say about 3 maximum throughout the day on Halloween, starting at about noon Eastern. So feel free to jump in at any point. Feel free to jump in at any point if you want to join in on the spooky movie day. But the official movie night is going to be this Saturday, 6 p.m. We do movie nights every last Saturday of the month. So the next one is going to be Saturday, November 30th. But yeah, join the Discord if you want to participate and keep up with the channel. Thank you guys for your support and showing up. I appreciate it. If you want to continue to support the channel, there are many different ways. Consider checking out the merch store and tipping your streamer. By the way, folks, I'll be making another announcement. I'll be making another announcement towards the middle and maybe end of the stream as well. But if you can, I would like to direct your attention to Cosmopolitics channel. 1 second. Let me bring this up. Okay. I found it here. If you guys can, okay. A friend of the channel, Cosmopolitics, someone who is a left-leaning progressive streamer and who has even occasionally raided into this channel as well. Her cat right now is passing away, and she cannot afford to even help ease the suffering for the poor kitty. So please, yeah, she was here this week. So please, if you can, please go help out Cosmopolitics. I will be I will be helping out as well. Because that's just that is very sad. And if there's anything that any one of us can do, then please consider helping if you can. This is heartbreaking. It's never easy. It's never easy to lose a pet, especially it's never easy knowing that you're going to lose a pet. She provided more context in the in other tweets that the cat is on the older side, so it's just she needs help, and if there's anything that anybody can do, please consider assisting. This is all on her Twitter page, so it's all public. You can go there and you can go and support if you can. Hey, Blue Brother. How's it going? Good evening. We lost 3 in 1 year span. Greetings, Carlos. I'm having a panic attack at the very possible chance of Trump winning. I'm losing faith in humanity. Completely understandable, but I think Michael Hassler is correct. Find in the event that it does end up being the case that Trump wins, find local support. All right, folks, let's get started because I don't have that much time today. Let's do it.
It is 2 weeks from an election, and I would argue that this is one of the biggest stories to come out. And I want to be clear, it isn't just the headline here that I'm about to show you and some of the context around this headline. It is also the greater context around what Trump was complaining about here. So I'll get to that because that part of it, at least right now, is not being as widely discussed as I think it needs to be.
I wouldn't go that far to losing faith in humanity, lose faith in U.S. citizens. Well, I suppose so. Oh, and I forgot. So I'm pretty sure that what he's going to talk about, because I haven't seen this video. This is for you, Blue Brother. I haven't seen this video, but I'm pretty sure I had this queued up because I was going to talk about it in a news article, or in a segment, I should say. but I'm pretty sure he's gonna go over Trump. Trump saying that he would like or he would need Hitler's generals because of insubordination, and Fox News essentially trying to justify that. You know, so I'm pretty sure that this is what this video is about. It just came out 4 hours ago, so I'm pretty sure that this is what this is about. So here's Trump essentially saying, Fox News essentially justifying Trump saying that he needs Hitler's generals because of insubordination.
Again, considering this man may be elected and be able to choose the kind of sycophants that he wants to be around him. So this is the headline that is getting proper coverage for obvious reasons from The Atlantic here.
Yeah, okay. Yep, here we are.
Trump is quoted as saying, "I need the kind of generals that Hitler had." And that is reporting from John Kelly, his former chief of staff. That is, I'll get some more discussion, some audio from John Kelly discussing this. But first, I want to get to the Fox News reaction, because they really downplay this. And it's important to use the Fox News clip here as context, because they're acting like in this clip that, you know, only if Trump was able to do whatever he wanted to do, things would have been even better. But when I give you the added context to what Trump is complaining about, I don't think you're going to agree. Keeping in mind, again, that next time around, Trump isn't going to choose people that are going to challenge him in any way. So first, here's the Fox and Friends clip.
If you read H.R. McMaster's book, who is critical of President Trump in some of it and not in others, he talks about how Madison Kelly didn't like the president. And they didn't think he deserved the job, or they didn't think he was worthy of the job. And they went out of his way to make sure a lot of the things they asked him to do that they didn't like never got done. McMaster would be frustrated because he couldn't get their attention. And he would say, it's not your job to rein in the president. It's your job to do what the president wants. And then you factor in the fact that he runs his own company, coming from the business world, the first one we've ever had. It's not even a public company. And then he obviously has frustration. And I could absolutely see him go, now, you know what? It would be great to have German generals that actually do what we ask them.
No, man. No. That's not what's happening here. This is exactly the clip that I wanted to go over. No, that's not what's going on here. And the fact that, like, these guys sit here and perform Olympic levels of mental gymnastics to excuse this is beyond the pale. Because, mind you, this is not a one-of event, by the way. There have been a number of presidents who are businessmen.
To do, knowing that's a third, maybe not fully being cognizant of the third rail of German generals who were Nazis and whatever.
Yeah, Nazis, whatever. Okay, yes, it's wild that Trump, according to Brian Kilmeade here...
yeah, like, if he was just... Because, like, the question would be, like, hey, man, if you're complaining about insubordination, then why not just say that, right? The giveaway is that he immediately, you know, goes to, like, he immediately goes to, like, the Hitler stuff. Like, say, Jimmy Carter, Harry Truman, or Herbert Hoover. Right.
Needed to be educated on the Nazis. But it's wild to say this. Let's put that aside, because I feel like that part of it is sort of obvious. Trump is a piece of crap.
Many German generals disagree with Hitler. They just didn't have the courage to contradict him. If they had, they would have been hanged. Yeah, no, that's not what this is about. The point being is that, like, Trump consistently just, like, goes down this Hitlerian Nazi rabbit hole time and time again, and he makes these comments constantly, and you have sycophants like Fox News try to, like, downplay this kind of stuff. The point being is, like, if Trump, like, was having an issue with insubordination, then just say that, right? Just say that you're big mad that your generals aren't listening to your absolutely absurd orders, and that's it, right? But that's not what he says. He immediately goes to like, oh, well, I wish I had the kind of generals that Hitler had. Like, come on. Like, this is just like time and time again and time again. At what point, like, do we just, at what point do we just say, you know what, this dude's just straight up a fascist, man. He's a freaking
we know
Nazi.
that. But people will argue, some Trump supporters that are the ones that I would say are not in the cult, if those people still exist. Some would argue that, well, my life was better under Trump, and yeah, he should be able to have more control, and how dare people challenge him? This is the added context to some of those disagreements that Trump had with his generals. So from Brian here, and I'll get to more reporting on this. But the dynamic between McMaster and Mattis that Kilmeade refers to...
Yeah, and it's worse, by the way. The added context is worse.
...encompasses Mattis' slow-rolling request for military options to conduct a bloody nose strike on North Korea. Donald Trump wanted to start a war with North Korea. Some reporting at the time discussed this. People didn't, some people took this seriously, some didn't take it as seriously. It's hard to know, right? How serious they were, if these were just empty threats. But here's Mattis at the time. This is 2017. Warns of massive military response to a North Korea nuclear threat. McMaster here in December 2017 saying potential war with North Korea increasing every day. Apparently this was legitimate, as later on in a book that was released, Mattis said that he frequently prayed in church because of this, worried about this. And then The Intercept, one of many places that reported this, later on in 2021, by far the worst thing Trump did was flirt with nuclear war with North Korea. And this is why it is so dangerous to have a second Trump term, because the lessons that Trump learned from the first one isn't that, I should have done more to...
the lesson that he learned is that he needed more yes men.
Increase the social safety net. I should have expanded health. Those aren't the lessons that Trump learned. The lessons that Trump learned is I need greater sycophants around me. I can't have anyone around me who questions me. So
this is it. Voters are casting their ballots. And now is your last chance to make a...
Trump didn't merely threaten to attack North Korea if it possessed the ability to strike the U.S. He ordered the Pentagon to develop new plans over the resistance of then Secretary of Defense James Mattis to do so. As Slate columnist Fred Kaplan reports in his book, the Joint Chiefs of Staff created new war plans, quote, that assumed the United States would strike the first blow. This was at the request of Donald Trump. Now, we're going to get to, you may be thinking, but I thought Donald Trump fell in love with Kim Jong-un and they, exchanged love letters. We'll get to that part. But Mattis had the authority to order the bombing of North Korean launch sites. Again, keep in mind, if Trump had someone there who was just a sycophant, just kissing his ass, that would have happened. That is to start an escalation that could lead to nuclear war without the approval of Congress or even Trump. So thankfully, that didn't happen because there was pushback by these generals. Now, this is why there was not a nuclear war with North Korea. According to the news section, Kelly came up with a plan he believes ultimately prompted Trump to dial back the rhetoric in spring 2018, appealing directly to Trump's narcissism. Kelly convinced the president he could prove he was the greatest salesman in the world by trying to strike a diplomatic relationship, Schmidt writes, thereby preventing a nuclear conflict that Kelly and other top military leaders saw as more immediate threat than most realized at the time. So, Brian Kilmeade and Fox News, they're arguing that, Donald Trump just wanted people to listen to him. And they should have listened to him. If they had listened to him, there would have been a nuclear war.
Yeah, furthermore, sorry, folks, my throat is already acting up, and we're, not even a few minutes in. The problem is that he continues to go down this path. Listen, he's not a dictator, okay? And he's just big mad that he can't be a dictator. And the fact that he went to that comparison is pretty freaking alarming.
And those are the kinds of people that Trump now wants in a future administration. He wants people that are simply going to obey him.
Right.
This, to me, is a massive story. It's hard to, this is why I don't want to sidestep the quotes about, Trump loving Nazis or anything, or admiring Hitler. Those are incredibly important, but without the added context of what that could mean, it can be hard for people to grasp on, what does that actually mean in practice? It can mean this in practice, a nuclear war. So this is, there's more from this interview. Let me just get some more audio here from John Kelly and discuss this as well.
Well, I'm looking at the definition of fascism. It's a far-right, authoritarian, ultranationalist political ideology and movement characterized by a dictatorial leader, centralized autocracy, militarism, forcible suppression of opposition, belief in a natural social hierarchy. So certainly, in my experience, those are the kind of things that he thinks would work better in terms of running America. Certainly.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is just like a long-winded way of saying that, like, yeah, dude, Trump's a fascist, and he absolutely operates in this manner just because of his narcissism and megalomania. Do you remember the Simpsons episode where Homer became CEO of the nuclear plant? It happened because Burns listened to his advisors without questioning. Even that episode was like 30 years ago. It's still up to date. Just now, it's the exact opposite. Man, I haven't seen The Simpsons in quite a while, but that was 30 years before. About 30 years ago, that was. I want to say, I was alive. But I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, 94. Okay, I was alive. Just very young. You guys are all youngsters. Not me. Hey, Cognizant, how's it going? Youngster means under 50, yeah. Saw the first Simpsons on another comedy show. I saw the Tracy Ullman show too. Oh, that's before me because I don't even know who that is.
President is in the far right area. He's certainly an authoritarian. Admires people who are dictators. He has said that. So he certainly falls into the general definition of fascist, for sure.
So while conservative media like Fox and Friends, they're trying to downplay the comments that Trump made about, he just wants, it's not about Nazis, it's about he wants generals that obey him. Here is John.
Yeah, if it was just about generals obeying him, he would just say that, right?
Kelly, his former chief of staff, saying, no, Trump's a fascist. This is the guy that worked directly with him. 2 weeks from an election, I think it's important that people are aware of the thread here. You have to vote. You have to vote. This is not somebody that you want to even play games with. That, again, understanding the lessons that Trump learned the first time around. The lessons he learned were, I need people who kiss my ass and obey everything I ask them to do.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that could lead to some pretty pretty dark stuff. If he's allowed to do what he really wants to do. I remember the first run episodes of The Fourth Doctor. Trump never really just says something. It's always hyperbole and references to the most famous person related to whatever he's talking about. Whew. I suppose he can't actually say and be direct, right? Tom Baker, 74-81. Shifting gears here. Here we have Jim Brewer doing something. He calls it comedy, but and I guess these boomer Republicans are laughing, but it's just so wild to see like how far this dude has fallen. But what we're about to watch is simply for dunking purposes. This guy's a total freaking clown. This is just sad to watch at this point.
Oh, we got to play this.
Yeah, Jim.
Folks, we've heard many, many times that the left doesn't have a sense of humor, that Democrats don't have a sense of humor.
The left can't meme.
I would suggest to you that the real political humor is happening on the right. And you got to give kudos to Jim Brewer. It's amazing. I would imagine they're going to bring him on to Saturday Night Live to do
anytime.
This Kamala Harris impression, because it is so spot on.
Yeah, he'll be on Saturday Night Live. Is anyone from Half Baked okay?
Here is
It's probably the better question, to be honest.
Jim Brewer at the North Carolina Reawaken America tour. Incidentally, this is the Michael Flynn organization. So impressive? I don't know. Let's take a look at this.
So the Fox guy goes, 70% of America says we're heading in the wrong direction. And what do you have to say to those 70% of Americans? And Donald Trump's been running.
I never heard of him before. According to Wikipedia, he's a right-wing conspiracy theorist. If you've never heard of him before, it's probably for the best. But I'm sorry that I'm going to have to subject you to this. So I apologize in advance.
Her handlers are coming out.
This is just difficult to watch. Whew.
You don't think China was watching that going, oh my gosh, she's so funny?
Am I supposed to laugh? No, you're supposed to. You're supposed to cringe at this point. He thinks Jim Brewer thinks you're supposed to laugh. Jim Brewer thinks this is comedy. At least he isn't confused with a comedian. A political revival in North Carolina. Talk about cringe. Whew.
Answer no question, so funny! And people still follow her!
Oh, God.
Whew, boy. It's, holy racism, Batman.
Pro football has gone international, and the world's most fun and lively city should be next. Dublin, Ireland.
Why?
The games are over 3 hours long.
Amazing. First off, can we go back and here?
I laugh while cringing.
I'll cue this up too after I just sent you an IM. But let's go back and just watch right before they cut to the audience. It's amazing. It's hard to know what's funnier about this. Him doing Kamala Harris.
The thing is, like, he thinks that's comedy, Blue Brother. He thinks that's funny. I don't get it.
As a donkey, I guess. I'm not quite sure what it is he's doing there. Or his doing...
Sam, nobody knows what he's doing, to be quite frank.
Doing an impersonation of the Chinese as if this was like 1925.
Yeah, Breakfast at Tiffany's style.
Unbelievable. Well, no sound. Look at all those old people laughing. Oh, pause it. Wait, we gotta go back just a little bit. What is the average age? The average age of people.
Jesus.
In that audience are with all.
Oh my goodness. That strikes me as funny to 7-year-old bullies and unrepentant hogs. There are only two types of people here in North Carolina.
Due respect to old people like myself. Right there. Do you see anybody even remotely close to like being not retired?
No, I think categorically no. I think everybody is at least really preparing for it or anxious about it if they aren't already retired.
And this is the funniest thing they've ever seen. Play this other clip. Yeah, somebody just said Brewer's just recycling Goat Boy from like 1995. I don't think he's done any other material other than like his punchlines are always this. And I should say, understand,
Him for like a week.
It wasn't even that funny when Jim Carrey did it. All right, pop this in.
They left me here. I'm all alone and I can't get out. I can't believe this is happening. Like, how can you not know your coach? How can you not know some other teammates and have context? Like, what are you just showing up behind like a shopping mall where the Mexicans play soccer? You know that one field in your town where you're like, oh, that's where the Mexicans play soccer. And they're into it. They're fantastic.
There we go. Here we go.
That percussive sound.
Just literally took a random a random, just a clip, and it's basically the same thing, just a different ethnicity.
Amazing.
That he's doing as if it's like 1925.
It's almost like he's been rewarded for that and found the people who will just, yeah, here's $25. Do the racist impressions for me, sir. Should I go call in?
Yeah, go call in. We'll take one or two phone calls. In the meantime, I'll read some IM. Jokes on you, Sam. You never retire if you're perpetually unemployed, says Ledro James.
Only 1 in 4 adults here have finished high school.
Jody from Chicago. Jim Brewer's comedy always consists of him filleting the microphone. Way too grim, Ryan. Sam, that Jim
More like 10,000 BC.
Brewer audience was a local young Republican organization. Ramona Frankenstein, I've been thinking about trying out stand-up comedy, but it seems to have peaked now. So what's the point? Amazing. Mailman Paul, I encourage every letter carrier to read the tentative agreement and decide for themselves. But as for me, I'm voting no. Skid Mark Dwayne. There you go. Some people told me, I've never seen it, but somebody told me that Arnold Palmer, one of the greatest golfers of our time, maybe the best ever, that Arnold Palmer had a huge member, and I love women.
Yeah, I need to pull that as a drop. The all due respect, and I love women, but he had a big.
Seth the Lit PhD. Sam, speaking of Warsaw Ghetto, have you heard about Ben Shapiro's musical about it with Zachary Levi attached? I think no. That has to be a joke. Regular Shoe Mike, the absolute funniest take on Arnold Palmer's stuff was from Zach Bornstein. It wasn't just the size that was wild. One of his balls was full of lemonade, the other iced tea. Yes, that was. I've seen that. We will take phone calls. We'll probably only have time for one.
Average Majority Report IMer.
One or two, but.
Average Majority Report IMer experience. Jim Brewer is literally the king's fool.
You can call in 646-257-3920. 646-257-3920. Rootin' Tootin' Highfalutin. Sam, I would love you to see you and Obama get into a competition on who can insert the most ums into a sentence. Love the show. Keep up the good work. Rogerson. Wasn't he known for Goat Boy? Hey, remember the 80s? Andrew from Vermont. How is it possible that Trump and Vance and others can continue to spread lies that cause threats of
Canada Dry? I'm just kidding. Canada Dry is actually pretty good ginger ale. Thanks for introducing him. Now I know I can certainly ignore him. Yeah, this is just for dunking purposes. There's actually like nothing here other than like this dude's a racist and he thinks he's a comedian, but he's not.
It's towards towns, FEMA workers, election workers, and immigrants without any repercussions. What's amazing to me is like, where's Merrick Garland on this Elon Musk stuff? Seriously?
I mean, he's a microcosm between all of the pollution that his rocket stuff causes, between just using, and this is not just Tesla, but using our public roads as testing grounds for self-driving tech.
100%.
Like, we're not even a country anymore with some of this stuff.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button.
Okay. I'm actually gonna play the full the full clip because I don't think David Dole played the whole clip, or maybe he did. Maybe he did. So I'm just gonna go back to that. I'm gonna circle back to that clip. Because really, this is the center of what I wanted to talk about. I think this is the full clip. I can't remember if he played it.
You see him go now. You know what? The side guy.
Okay,
But
I think it is for the full clip.
If you
All right.
read H.R. McMaster's, but the bottom line is, if you read H.R. McMaster's book, who is critical of President Trump in some of it and not in others, he talks about how Madison Kelly didn't like the president. and they didn't think he deserved the job, or they didn't think he was worthy of the job, and they went out of his way to make sure a lot of the things they asked him to do that they didn't like never got done. McMaster would be frustrated because he couldn't get their attention, and he would say, it's not your job to rein in the president. It's your job to do what the president wants. And then you fact.
No, it is not. No, it is not. If you're a high-ranking general and the president tells you to do some, like, incredibly illegal stuff, no, you can't do that because you will be, you will face repercussions. So no, you can't just, not do that.
In the fact that he runs his own company, coming from the business world, the first one we've ever had. It's not even a public company. And then he obviously has frustration. And I could absolutely see him go, now, you know what? It would be great to have German generals that actually do what we asked them to do, knowing that's a third, maybe not fully being cognizant of the third rail of German generals who were Nazis and whatever. But he was frustrated with the slowdown of
It wasn't just a slowdown. It was insubordination. And there is a culture within Washington, not just when it comes to the generals, who, by the way, should be fired after what happened.
Yeah, so like this kind of like puts it all into full context. So no, we didn't get to watch this part from David Dole's video. We didn't get to watch the full like ending of this clip, which is what I wanted to see, what I wanted to go over. No, man, that's not how this works at all. Personally, I'm not interested in retired military pros. I feel that. You have sworn an oath to the U.S. Constitution, not to the president. Correct!
In Afghanistan is of insubordination in the sense that the bureaucrats run the government. The founders did not design this country to be that way. Unelected people don't get to run the country, even if you have 4 stars behind your name. And I think they were very frustrated that you had this outside guy that says, listen, I'm in charge now.
Yeah, that's not how that works at all. The Third Rail? No, I think he tried to say like Third Reich, but like caught himself and like cut him. He tried to like stumble into that. I think he meant I think he tried to say the Third Reich, is what he was about to say. Like you can, what he was saying.
And I could absolutely see him go, now, you know what? It would be great to have German generals that actually do what we asked them to do, knowing that's a third, maybe not fully being cognizant of the third rail of German generals who were Nazis and whatever. But he was frustrated with the.
Yeah, either he tried to like catch himself from saying the Third Reich or Third Rail, like third in line. I don't know. Unelected people don't run the country. Have you seen Scrotus lately? Anyways, that was the full context of that clip. This is absurd, and the fact that like this is what Fox News is putting out is just wild. It's just wild to me. Don't piss on the third rail unless it's a Nazi. Exactly. Give me 1 second, folks. Is that article real? It is. It is. Hey, folks. Before we get into the next article, if you can, please, if you can, please consider helping out a fellow streamer. She's going through a really rough patch. Her poor kitty cat is in the process of passing away, and she's got no funds, and if you have the option, please spread the word, or please help if you can. For context, Frankie is the poor kitty cat. I'll make another announcement, another shout out towards the end as well. Just from the headline, did that specific restaurant wanted to be visited by Trump, or was it chosen by Trump's team? Probably both. Some combination of both, because like the owner is like an absolute he's not a very good person, and the owner is incredibly anti-labor. So yeah, it would track that it might have been kind of a mutual thing. So just kind of going off of that, McDonald's location where the Trump publicity stunt happened attracted so many negative comments that Yelp had to disable the comments. I found this absolutely freaking hilarious. The McDonald's in Feasterville, Pennsylvania, that hosted former President Trump on October 20th, about a couple days ago, 3 days ago, had its Yelp reviews disabled after attracting a flurry of politicized comments. Yelp told CBS Money Watch it decided to block new reviews for the McDonald's location because it wanted to ensure that user comments reflect genuine first-hand experience with the business. Yelp placed an unusual activity alert on the Feasterville, PA-based restaurant page on the afternoon of October 21st. About 145 reviews have already been posted prior to that, although Trump only served food to pre-selected supporters in 5 cars on Sunday. Otherwise, the restaurant located in Bucks County was closed to the public that morning. Trump's appearance at the restaurant, where he donned an apron and worked the drive-thru, sparked some controversy, prompting McDonald's Corp to emphasize this was not a presidential endorsement. A sign on the front door from the franchise owner and operator acknowledged they are nonpartisan, adding they proudly serve everyone, but happen to, yeah, sure, whatever. That makes no sense. How could you say that you're nonpartisan and host a presidential candidate of one party, right? That is not being nonpartisan. That is not being nonpartisan. The same cannot be said of some reviewers on Yelp who took distinctive partisan views on Trump's appearance at the location. Quote, senile old man working fries without proper restaurant hygiene when reviewer. Yeah, so this is accurate. I don't see the problem here. Another wrote, felons working the window here with access to your credit cards and cash, a reference to Trump having been convicted of multiple felony counts falsifying business records. Others called out the negative review as politically motivated. This business is being review bombed over politics by a bunch of hateful fools who have never been to the restaurant. I mean, don't have fascist candidates at your restaurant? Question mark? Yeah, he's that manure touch. It's sad yet unsurprising that the range liberals would degrade a small business. A small business. A small business. A McDonald's franchise. Small business. Simply because they can't stand Trump. They should get a life. Trump's visit to the McDonald's was spurred by his assertion without evidence that Vice President Kamala Harris had never worked at the restaurant. She had previously worked at a fast food chain while in college. For its part, Yelp said its decision to disable comments is due to the goal of ensuring genuine reviews for the users. Well, yeah, I mean, I would like to know if my restaurant is hosting fascist candidates. So, yeah. Consumer trust is one of our top priorities, which is why Yelp makes significant investments in technology and human moderation to protect the integrity and quality of our content on our platform. We see activity dramatically decrease or stop. Our moderators will clean up the page so review describing only first-hand consumer experiences are reflected. Yeah, but they don't endorse presidential candidates, right? Yeah, they're nonpartisan, but they're just they just happen to be only hosting one party's candidate. Yeah, I'm fairly certain Trump wouldn't have gone if that restaurant said no. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the dude wanted. I'm pretty sure both of them made a mutual agreement because that guy looks like a Trumper, with his past behaviors. Folks, we are less than 2 weeks away from the election. We are less than 2 weeks away from the election. If you are in the state of Georgia, early voting is happening right now until November 1st. November 1st. I voted today, actually. Nice. A McDonald's franchise is a small business. The McDonald's Corporation is just a real estate holdings company and logistics company. The franchise owners usually only have about 50 to 100 employees. I mean, that's a lot to me. But maybe my definition of small business is different. And the latest predictions... I think it's like less than 500. Gotcha. Okay, I'll eat that L. I'm okay with that. Fine. The McDonald's franchise is a small business. Got it. So less than 2 weeks. And this is where we're at, folks. This is where we're at. Which isn't very small, honestly. Yeah, I mean, you know. I think, like, technically, I think you guys are right, though. I think chat's right, though. Like, as far as, like, technical descriptions go, the franchise would be considered a small business. Which is frightening me at the very least. Yes, and we'll play this clip because this is kind of important to add more to the article. Trump has gained in the 538 forecast, but the election is still a toss-up. The closest election of the century keeps getting closer. 2 weeks ago, 538's forecast of the presidential election gave Vice President Kamala Harris just a 58 in 100 chance of defeating former President Trump. Now, just 18 days away from the election when the time this was done. Our forecast gives Trump the bare advantage and a 52 to 100 chance to win. You might be tempted to make a big deal about our forecast flipping to Trump, but it's important to remember that a 52 in 100 chance for Trump is not at all that different from a 58 in 100 chance for Harris. Both are little better than a coin flip for the leading candidate. While Trump has undeniably gained some ground over the past couple of weeks, a few good polls for Harris could easily put her back into lead tomorrow. Our overall characterization of the race is that it's a toss-up remains unchanged. The reason the forecast is so close and is that the polls are close, well within the range that even small polling errors could be decisive. According to our polling averages, the margin between Trump and Harris is a 2 percentage point or less in all 7 major swing states: Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. And our average of national polls, Harris leads Trump by only 2 points. That is tighter than the margin between Trump and Biden on every day of the 2020 campaign, and tighter than the margin between Trump and former Secretary of Hillary Clinton on the day of October 1st and Election Day. So that's not good. Because of the Electoral College biases towards Republicans, our models currently estimate that Harris likely needs to win the national popular vote by 2 points in order to be favored to win a majority of the electoral votes. For the most part, high-quality polls have only affirmed closeness of the race. ABC Ipsos, fielded October 4th to 8th, found Harris up by 2 points nationally. October 1 through 10 survey at Marquette University Law School, one of the most accurate and transparent pollsters in America, found her up by 3. And the list goes on. YouGov recently gave Harris a 3-point lead. Marist College gave her a 5-point. Fairleigh Dickinson University, 3. Fewer pollsters have given Trump a lead nationally, but there have been a few. Beacon Research, Shaw Research, and Fox News found Trump up by 2. Hart Research puts him up by 1. And Public Opinion Strategies, NBC News, puts him up by 1. In national polls, the race is not only close, but it's also stable. In fact, Harris's current 2-point margin in national polls is pretty similar to where it was 2 months ago. The crosstabs have barely changed as well. For example, among Black and Hispanic voters, Harris' support has moved up or down by less than 2 points since she joined the race. Of course, those 2 points could be decisive, but it's remarkable how little has changed over the course of the campaign. Now, that's pretty freaking alarming, man. I'm not gonna lie. We're gonna be on the edge of our seats here. Yeah, I hear you, John Rando. I hear you. There's absolutely no increase in Trump's ground at all. He only loses ground in small bits as people get exhausted with him, and it's always been Harris's race to lose. Whew, I don't know about always, but it's going to be a close race, and we're going to get to the explanation here.
We talk about a historically close race. Oftentimes we talk about the national polling, but I wanted to try and dig into the state numbers to get an understanding of how close this race is. Holy cow, from a historical perspective. So what I did for all of the years going back since 1972 was...
Hey, Bonds Villa, thank you for the tier 1 sub for 13 months. 13 months. Thank you. I appreciate that. Harris' decision to take all that enthusiasm following the convention MVP pick to go then checks notes catered to jaded Republicans might not have been the best choice. Conversely, I wouldn't be surprised if it was actually if it wasn't actually close and this entire show was a media construction to maintain the horse race mentality. I think that's along the lines of I think that's along the lines of what Cognizant has said before. In my opinion, one of the reasons Harris does so badly is because of Biden. He stepped down way too late. He should have announced his bid. He shouldn't have announced his bid in the first place. I mean, I can't disagree with that. I have no disagreements with that whatsoever. No disagreements. Let me restart this. Turkey bomb in the Middle East countries. I'll have to take a look at that later.
About a historically close race. Oftentimes we talk about the national polling, but I wanted to try and dig into the state numbers to get an understanding of how close this race is. Holy cow, from a historical perspective. So what I did for all of the years going back since 1972 was I took a look at the final polls, and then I basically calculated out what the electoral map would look like and how high up would the leading candidate's electoral vote total get. And what we essentially see is right now the leader's electoral vote total is 276 electoral votes based upon the polls. If you go back since 72 and try and find the closest years, if you go back to 2000, which of course was a historically close election, at the end of the campaign, the poll leader's electoral vote total was just 281 electoral votes. That's where Gore was in the final polls of that campaign. You go back to 2004, George W. Bush was at 296 electoral votes. So based upon the polls at this point, we are heading into the election with the closest polls in the Electoral College that we have ever seen, at least over the last 50 years. It's stuff like this that gets me up in the morning. It gets me truly excited as a political sort of scientist.
This is a really interesting way to look at it. I never would have thought of this, but basically what the polls are showing right now, the polls.
Correct.
The closest race in terms of the electoral vote that we've ever seen.
Exactly right.
They say this every year. No, this is different. This is going to be a incredibly razor thin race, for sure. Like, this is the type of like race that it's going to come down to like the last wire. My sister's a Republican, but she's younger. She'll have to live with the fascism she voted in. I feel a little better. I was able to change at least 2 people from my family not to vote for Trump. But damn, it was hard. Man, that's doing the Lord's work. Doing the Lord's work.
Fascinating. All right, how about in the key states?
Yeah, how about in the key states? You know, it's not just when you tally up the electoral votes. Harris likely must carry 3 of these 4 states to win, and these are the states most likely to determine the Electoral College. Look at this. North Carolina, less than a point lead for Trump. Wisconsin, less than a point lead for Harris. Michigan, the exact same thing. Pennsylvania, the exact same thing. Basically, the 4 states that are most likely to determine this outcome are all within a point. And when we span this out to the Electoral College, what do we get? We get exactly this. Harris with that 276 electoral votes because she carries these Great Lake battleground states, right? But let's just say we flip Pennsylvania and the polls don't match the result exactly right. What happens? We flip Pennsylvania to red, and then we get Trump to 281 electoral votes, which is not really much of a long shot, given that at this particular point, the race in Pennsylvania is within a single point.
All right, you know, you just showed those 4 states all within 1 point. David Plouffe, who's working for the Harris campaign, says all 7 swing states are within 1 point. Have we ever seen so many crucial states so close?
No, I went back since 1972. Have the final Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin polls ever been so tight? No. No, they have not. We have never had a year where any one of these states was within 1 point, and this
530 has a reason to fudge numbers to maintain the horse race. They've been doing it since Nate Silver left the company. I left for a few minutes before heading to bed. See you. Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it.
Here, John, all 3 of them are within 1 point. It's a historically close campaign, whether you look at the national polls or at the state polls, like we just did. And I think we just got knighted.
So you're saying it's close?
I'm saying it is close.
Harriet, and thank you.
Yeah, like not just close, but like we're talking about like on the edge of our seats close. The type of stuff that we'll see how things play out. When is November 5th? But man, it does seem like it's heading in a very, very close direction. The Tuesday after next, correct? Correct. So not next Tuesday, but the following. That's whew. Yeah, anxiety levels are peaking. So we talked about this a couple days ago. Justice Department, yeah, I believe it is a Tuesday. You're right. I may or may not maintain that level for the next 4 years. We talked about this a couple days ago. The Justice Department has warned Musk's PAC that the 1 million voter giveaway could be illegal. The Justice Department has sent a letter to tech billionaire Elon Musk, Elon Musk's super PAC, America PAC, warning that its 1 million daily giveaway in battleground states may run afoul of federal law. A source familiar with the matter has told NBC News the letter came from the Department of Public Integrity. Integrity section said the source that handles election-related prosecutions in federal cases and related cases. The Justice Department declined to comment, and the Super PAC's treasurer did not immediately return a voicemail message. The letter, which earlier was reported by CNN, mounting pressure on state and federal authorities to investigate Musk's lottery as a potential violation of election law, including a ban on paying people to register to vote. On Monday, a group of ex-prosecutors and former government officials sent a letter to the Justice Department requesting an investigation. It's unclear when that letter went out or what further action, if any, the DOJ might take. Legal experts have told NBC News that they believe Musk's contest does fall into a legal gray area and could potentially violate election law, but not necessarily. I can see what people are saying when they argue this violates law, but I don't think it does, said Matthew Saunderson, the election law expert who has worked with Republicans and is an NBC News consultant. Well, I mean, yeah, if you're, yeah. I don't know if I would trust that. Federal law does prohibit people from paying people to register to vote. The daily drawing by Musk's America PAC has 2 requirements to enter: be a registered voter in one of the swing states and sign a petition supporting the First and Second Amendment. Our goal is to get 1 million registered voters in a swing state to sign up in support of the Constitution, especially freedom of speech and right to bear arms. Musk has also mentioned a third requirement to win: be a spokesperson for the petition in support of free speech rights and gun rights. So far, several of the winners have appeared in short videos for the America PAC where they talk about their support for former President Trump. I mean, like, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. This, you know, this a-hole, might get away with it, but man, does this feel like, straight up like election interference. We'll see if the DOJ decides to do anything, but I'm not holding my breath on that. Sounds like a teeing up for fresh lawsuits for the Supreme Court to make ish decisions on it. I don't think so. I don't think they're going to do anything to this guy, to be honest. Merrick Garland was such a bad choice for AG. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. The godly lies in the intent. Musk is not paying people to register to vote. He's paying people to take a survey that just happens to have a prerequisite that you have to be a registered voter. Right, but like that's the thing though, right? It's man, it's so like it's so obvious. Like, because like I would argue the intent is to sway the election, right? Because like the fact, and like someone else pointed this out in not just a random someone. I'm saying that like the experts going back and forth in the articles pointed out that the fact that he only did this in swing states, is indicative of the intent, right? Like that's where things start getting a little shaky here. It's immoral AF, but not illegal. I don't know. At the end of the day, like I don't think anything's gonna happen. I don't think anything's going to happen to Musk. I think that it's tied to voter registration status is explicitly illegal. Right, because first of all, you can't participate in that if you're not registered. So, like, you kind of have to register to vote or be registered to vote or encourage other people to be registered to vote in order for that to kind of fly. And, like, that induces, right, people to be registered to vote, specifically in the swing states, for the expressed, for the very obvious, in my opinion, for the very obvious, like, intent of swaying the election, of getting an outcome, a specific outcome. What Elon is attempting to do is get a detailed database that he can sell for the future elections. He will make 100 times more than he is paying out. Oh, that's a good point, too. That's a good point. Yeah, he needs a few more billion. He does. They got the databases likely illegally during Trump's administration. With all that, sign up here to show Trump you love. You love him, ads. True. I gotta show Daddy Trump I love him. Let me sign this petition real quick and put all my pertinent information. At the very least, there should be an investigation to make sure that that is improper. And like, I think that is a valid, I think that is a valid legal question. That should we allow a should we allow super PACs that are essentially being run by incredibly wealthy people, but should we allow super PACs to be able to host raffles to registered voters in swing states to elicit a outcome? I think that at the very least, they should investigate that. And Marjorie Taylor Greene spends like $3 million to use one of those mailing lists Q1 to raise all the money and make everyone think she's a big fundraiser, and she's not. All right, we got one more article. A judge's ultimatum forces deal to shelf subpoena fight in the House GOP probe of Hunter Biden. Sorry, guys, no more dong pics for now. I'm kidding. A highly unusual ultimatum from a frustrated judge caused the House GOP investigators to postpone their demand for testimony from 2 Justice Department tax attorneys in a probe of Hunter Biden's finances. The deal was struck Wednesday after U.S. District Judge Anna Reyes threatened to order Attorney General Merrick Garland and House Judiciary Chair Jim Jordan to show up next week in her Washington courtroom for legal arguments on the dispute. Quote, "Don't test me on this. I'm not bluffing," said Reyes, an appointee of President Biden. The fight emerged from House Republicans' long-running search for evidence that the White House exerted political pressure on officials who investigated the younger Biden's failure to pay income tax. Don't worry, folks. The Biden crime family... is being investigated. As part of that inquiry, the House Judiciary Committee tried to obtain testimony from 2 Justice Department tax lawyers who worked on that case. When the Justice Department resisted the House GOP subpoena to the 2 lawyers, the fight ended up before Anna Reyes, who had been refereeing the dispute for months with increasing exasperation. During a 2-hour hearing on Wednesday, she pressed lawyers for both sides to punt the dispute until next year. If they refused, she said she would summon their bosses into court. After a brief recess, the House's top lawyer, Matthew Berry, and veteran Justice Department lawyer Elizabeth Shapiro told the judge they had agreed to shelve the matter until early next year. By that point, a new Congress and a new president will have been sworn in, developments likely to diminish both sides' appetite for a fight linked to an all but defunct effort to impeach Biden. Hunter Biden pleaded guilty to tax evasion last month and is scheduled to be sentenced in December. The White House and Justice Department have staunchly denied any political interference in the case involving the president's son, and Hunter Biden's lawyers have argued that he was actually treated overly harshly as a result of political pressure from Republicans. Wednesday's hearing on the subpoena fight was perhaps most notable for the furious tongue-lashing that Reyes delivered to both sides over the handling of the matter. It was a follow-up to a similarly brutal bench slapping that she dealt out in the same case in April. The judge took particular umbrage with the House's insistence that the two subpoenaed career attorneys would have any information relevant to the Judiciary Committee's inquiry. Quote, I would be willing to bet everything I own plus my dog Scout that these two line attorneys are going to have zero information to confirm your suspicion, Reyes said. In one memorable exchange, Reyes appeared to get Berry to acknowledge that Jordan's decision in 2022 to blow off a subpoena from the House's January 6th Select Committee was based on flimsy premise. Reyes baited Berry by asking whether it would be acceptable for the Justice Department to refuse to comply with the House subpoena over concerns about testimony being politicized or misrepresented. After Berry roundly rejected those excuses as unacceptable, Reyes said she had quoted them directly from a letter Jordan had written, refusing to comply a subpoena in the January 6th committee issued to the Ohio lawmaker for his testimony. Amazing. Amazing. Quote, both sides are being beyond hypocritical, Reyes said. You're all abusing the court system, and abusing my time. This is not acceptable. Berry recognized the trap Reyes laid and emphasized that while he was representing Jordan in this particular fight, he also represents the House more broadly and stand up for the institutional prerogatives. The Justice Department has argued that its so-called line attorneys shouldn't be subject to questioning from congressional committees because that would intrude on the executive branch deliberations. Shapiro also noted that the DOJ made various other people involved in the Hunter Biden case available for questioning, including special counsel David Weiss and other top officials and FBI agents. Quad Bennett, welcome. Yep, 12 days left, folks. But Reyes expressed irritation that the negotiations broke down over whether DOJ attorneys representing the subpoenaed lawyer would be in the room when they were questioned. The separation of power concern is way overblown, the judge said. Democracy is not going to come falling down in shambles because two attorneys are outside the door instead of inside the door of a deposition. I think that's insanity and ridiculous and laughable as an argument. Reyes also skewered the Justice Department for hypocrisy for instructing the two career lawyers not to show up to their House depositions while successfully prosecuting two former Trump aides, Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro, on contempt charges for defying subpoenas on the January 6th committee. Working on a tally she ordered both sides to give her, Reyes complained that the subpoena litigation had cost taxpayers $1.1 million and counting. This is an outrageous waste of taxpayer funds. I mean, like, the whole thing is a freaking farce, man. You know, these people are trying to find crimes to then, they're trying to find crimes to pin the evidence to. Whatever, I might have said it backwards. But the point being is that, like, come on. Really? This is absurd and a waste of everybody's time. Okay? Hunter Biden is going to be sentenced for his tax crimes. Okay? That's the end of the story. And unless these people want to bring some receipts, then, like, they should honestly just, like, either put up or shut up at this point. Did you early vote yet? No, I'm going this Saturday. I'm going this Saturday. All right, folks, it's time for me to get out of here. My voice is already slowly losing power here, but thank you all for stopping by. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for the subscriptions. You guys are what makes this channel grow. Thank you so much. If you want to keep supporting the channel, there are many different ways. Keep liking the stream on YouTube. Thank you. Subscribe if you haven't. By the way, if you subscribe here on YouTube, see you soon. Thank you. If you subscribe here on YouTube, you get Discord Nitro perks if you're about that life. Join the Discord, folks. We'll be doing movie night this Saturday, 6 p.m. BPCL. Hey, welcome. Tax crimes don't do it for them because their guy loves tax crimes. They want to catch him doing something they think is bad. Don't worry. I'm sure they'll find the evidence eventually. Thank you guys for your support. If you want to support the channel in different ways, there are many ways of doing so. Consider checking out the merch store. By the way, guys, did you know that you can actually gift merch on stream? I'll show you. You can actually gift any merch on stream by just clicking on it. If I'm live and the little live button is there, you can actually gift it to Twitch chat. So definitely, if you want to support the channel, there are ways of doing that. Thank you. Thank you, Michael Hester, for modding the chat. I appreciate it. Also, folks, one last thing. One last thing, folks. If you can help a fellow comrade, please consider doing so. This is Cosmopolitics. Please consider checking out the Twitter. She's going through some stuff, and her poor cat is passing away, and she's got no money. And if you can help in any way, shape, or form, please consider doing so, so we can help the poor cat. I have already made a contribution, and I hope that she can help the poor cat. Have a good evening. Thank you. I appreciate it. Once again, folks, thank you for stopping by. We'll be back tomorrow. As always, folks, if you enjoy the content, thank you for your support. And remember, folks, this is the chillest place to be for news and politics. Bring a friend. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. As always, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one tomorrow. See ya. All right, folks, we're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.